Hi, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Bars TV. In this episode of the podcast, we've got a podcast guest on who has her own YouTube channel, and she reached out to see if we could do a podcast together, which I think will be quite interesting because it's coming from the other side. You hear a lot of stories on my channel about the male prisons, but today we're going to delve into what happens inside the female prisons, and we're going to talk a little bit about Corinne's background and how she ended up in prison. But Corinne, that is how you pronounce your name, isn't it?
Corinne.
Corinne.
Yeah.
Right.
It's spelt
Just so I
weird.
get it.
It's spelt Corinne, but I prefer Corinne, but it doesn't matter.
Corinne.
It really doesn't matter. Yeah.
No
What? Oh,
worries.
great! My alarm's going off. That's great.
So,
Sorry.
Corinne, we'll just talk a little about your YouTube channel first. So, how long have you had
Yes.
your YouTube?
Not long, a couple of weeks. Right, I've not been on. It's a couple of months now, probably. I've not been on there for a few weeks. I've been so ill. I have fibromyalgia, and I got a chest infection, and it triggered a fibromyalgia attack. And I was so ill, they wanted to admit me into hospital to give me morphine. Right, this is how bad I was.
Yeah.
Could not move. I was actually in tears, and I'm quite tough. My 13 and 15-year-old were having to help me out because I couldn't do anything. I could not even get up, couldn't even sit up.
Yeah.
And I said I can't go into hospital because I have no one to have my dog and my daughter. Like my son will go back to his dad, but my daughter had a little bit of falling out with stepmom. But that's just
So,
here
you're
or there.
getting back to good
But I
health then.
had no choice, so I had to just lay there and be ill. So yeah, that's why I haven't been on. But it's called The True Crime Whisperer,
And
and it's
obviously,
got
you just talk about different crime stories on your channel.
yeah, I've done a few little documentaries. Like I've done Joe Mitchell, the suitcase killer, who I was
Yeah.
in the cell next to. I don't know if you heard the case. She chopped a lady called Deborah Chong's head off, and she put her in a suitcase and dumped her in Devon. She was in the cell next to me, so she used to come in my cell and have coffee. I didn't know what she'd done at the time. It wasn't until I was released and all the court stuff come out. So
Right.
I'm sitting there having coffee, and I was helping her out because everyone was bullying her, and I felt bad because I don't like bullying. I know I've done some like I'm a convicted violent criminal. I am, and I can be violent, but I don't like people being picked on. So I felt sorry for her, and she'd always ask for like mushy peas and that because I didn't like them. So she'd be like, "Oh, please give them to me," and I used to help her out and that.
Right.
No one else liked her, but anyway, sorry, I've got ADHD, so I'm like go from one thing.
All right.
Oh, you have to stop me
I'll
because I
keep
go
you
from
right.
one thing to another.
I'll keep you right. Don't worry. But again, if anyone watching this is thinking my screen looks a little bit dark, it's because the electricity in my house has went off. Because I know there will be someone put in the comments saying your screen's a bit dark. So just to clarify that.
That's
But
all right. You
Corinne,
can still hear you.
What we're going to do, we'll just delve a little bit into your background, just so the viewers can get a little bit of an idea
Yeah.
about your bringing and before you went to prison.
Okay,
But
so I have to
so
be
whereabouts are
careful.
you from then, Corinne?
Pardon?
Where are you from and where did you grow up?
Okay, so I'm still living in Eastbourne and I grew up in Eastbourne. So it's in between Brighton and Hastings. So on as long as it's seaside, like it's seaside town. Used to be lovely, especially when I was little. Used to be able to play in the street and that now it's getting quite rough. Like let's just say when I was buying my daughter's present the other day and looking in the electrical shop, because I've been around criminals, I could see I was watching them, but they didn't know I was watching them. So I'm lucky. I was glad I had my Rottweiler with me because I could see what they were doing. And then the guys walked past and he's like, run his hand down my dog to see if it's aggressive. And I told my dog like guard, so she went in between my legs and I just stared him out like, don't even try it, like. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it's gone to pot really. But yeah,
Well, them small
so
seaside towns are all seem to be quite rough, aren't they?
they are now. Yeah, it was lovely years, like literally 20 years ago. Like, oh, love it. It was so, I mean, I've got fond memories of being a kid, but some not so fond memories. I've
Yeah.
got to be really careful what I say on here because of certain family members being upset. didn't get on with my dad, and I can't go into detail. It was nothing sexual, before anyone gets that in their head.
Yeah.
I didn't get on with my dad. So I thought at 16, I think I'm on the spectrum as well. So I used to find it really hard to tell what people were up to. Like if someone was like doing something, being sneaky, I couldn't see it. Like I believed everything that they told me.
Right.
Anyway, I just turned 16. I met this 18-year-old drug dealer, and I wasn't getting on with my dad. So like I moved in with him, and he used me and then just chucked me aside. So now I'm homeless, sleeping on people's sofas, and then I end up in a youth hostel. You could get, if you knocked on the door and said, has anyone got any milk or sugar? No one would have it. But if you knocked on the door and said, has anyone got any of this, that, or the other, drug wise, what do I say? Everyone would have it. Like it was a nightmare, and I was drinking from like 8, 9 in the morning when the shop would open, just drinking all day at 16, 17. Like,
is that when you started drinking, or were you drinking from a younger age? Because I know when we were knocking about when we were kids.
I dabbled like normal kids would do, like sneak a little bit from someone's parents and drink it, but not like the extent I was when I was in the YMCA. Yeah, and there were people there that were meant to be watching us, but I don't know what they were doing. It was out of control. One of the people actually that I was in there with, and I don't know if you'll be annoyed with me mentioning his name. Oh, I'm just gonna say it, Ben Hatchett. Don't know if you've heard of Ben. Yeah. He was in there with me. He lived in the YMCA with me. We were mates at the time. God, so it was mad. It's madness. So yeah, it's a long time ago. But yeah, I got bullied at school. I wasn't having a good time at home, and then I stupidly trusted this guy that did some unquestionable things. I'm not going to go into because it take forever. And then I've been dumped, and now I'm in the YMCA. Anyway, so I grow older. I meet someone I love, someone I knew from school. Is there any questions you want to ask before I could go to the next bit?
No, that's fine. Just carry on.
Okay, so I met my husband. Well, I say I met. We'd already knew each other from school, but we got back in touch with each other. We got married. We had 2 children together. I got really bad postnatal depression, and we were like really young at the time. I think about 20, probably about 20, 21. And he didn't understand. Because I didn't want him to kiss and cuddle me. Like it was because I was unwell mentally. Plus, I had undiagnosed bipolar and PTSD and all sorts of stuff. So obviously, I didn't want him cuddling me, kissing me, and he obviously felt like I didn't love him anymore. So he's found someone else and gone off, which has led me into a little bit of a breakdown, but nothing compared to the breakdown that come along later on.
Right.
So that's when I first ever self-harmed, but it was a few cuts on my leg. It wasn't like serious. They healed themselves, but that was the first time I ever done it. I don't know what I'm allowed to say too much about stuff like that.
No, you're okay to speak about things like this, but were you using drugs at the time as well?
Oh, I was completely sober. Like literally from when me and my husband got together, I didn't do nothing. Like we'd have occasional bottle of wine between us, but I always had an urge to drink. The urge was there, but I was absolutely fine until he left. And then I started to drink a bottle of wine in the evening, which was really dangerous because if one of the kids had woken up and I hadn't heard it, or there was a fire, or do you know what I mean? So drinking one bottle of wine in the evening could have caused something really bad to happen. So I was out of order for doing it. Like, but I could just, it was my way of trying to cope with losing somebody that I loved. But
did you have any other support around you at the time? Any other family support?
My mum, my mum's absolutely the best mum in the world. Like, there's things that she's been through that I can't really go into that have similar circumstances. I've got to be so careful what I say, but anyway, my mum's the best mum. I couldn't wish for a better mum. She's tried so hard to help me, but sometimes when I haven't been on my medication, and I've been on substances, I have been so out of control. Even the police, 8 police can't wrestle me. And I'm not even exaggerating. Literally, they're pinning me down, injecting me and stuff. Like when I go nuts, I go nuts. Like, so my mum could only do so much. So basically I got older anyway. He went off with something else. I ended up with somebody else who was a psychopath. Obviously not diagnosed, but he ticks all the boxes. He was worse than a narcissist. But anyway, he hurt one of my kids. He used to force me to stay. When I found out, I moved, changed locations, I even changed my name by default, like so he couldn't find us. Obviously I've got to live with the guilt of him. He put a cover over my son's head and he was 2.5, but he couldn't explain properly to me what had happened, so I didn't know till like a year later when he could like vocalize it. But he put a cover over him and strangled him. Now that's a psychopath, someone who do that to a little 2.5-year-old.
Oh, exactly. Somebody who can harm a little kid like that at that age.
Do you know what? I probably shouldn't say this. If it wasn't for my best friend blocking taxi numbers off my phone when I'd had a drink, I was gonna go up there and do it. I would be in prison right now and I wouldn't be getting out. She actually saved me from that. Like, I wanted to kill him for hurting my child, but then my kids don't get their mum.
Any mother would probably feel the same in that situation if she's been with someone like that and found out that he's harmed the kids. So,
and I've got to live with it as well. And I just, anyway, it's happened. My son's all right. He's got ADHD himself, so he's a bit hyperactive like me. So when we're together, it's a bit crazy. But he's all right. He's a good lad. He does have his little outbursts, but that goes with.
At what age were you when you first started getting into bother with the police then?
Right, so what happened was I ended up with this guy I got away from. I was struggling with 4 children on my own, and I had this fibromyalgia, and it was my kids. I really, really struggled. Like, they would not listen to me. One of them in particular, who has issues, would beat the others up. Well, I nearly snapped one of the other one's arms. I literally had to slap him to get him to let go of the other one's arm. I don't hit my kids, but I had no other choice. I could see it was gonna break. It was a living hell. I was getting hit. Things were getting thrown. Things were getting smashed up. Like, it was like living with a mini abusive person. And that's a horrible thing to say. And I'm not saying I'm the perfect mum, because I'm not. I made plenty of mistakes. But I've also got bipolar disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. And like, now I've been told I've got complex PTSD and ADHD, but at the time I definitely had the OCD and the bipolar. They were diagnosed at that time, and so I was already struggling. My mum would have them for a couple of hours in the park, but I didn't get. Apart from that, I got really no respite. My ex-husband would have his 2 sometimes, like at the weekends, but like I still had the other 2. Anyway, I was on the brink of a breakdown, as it was, and then along comes the savior, the narcissist, right? The one who comes to save me from it all. He's gonna help you. He's gonna change your life. He's gonna help you out with this. He's gonna help you out with that. Oh, don't worry, we'll decorate this. We'll fix that door. Don't worry about it. I'll go shopping for you. Don't worry, I'll pick the kids up. One of them, like trying to love bomb, like fake promises that would never happen. And me being vulnerable, thought, oh my God, I found somebody, even though he was ugly as hell. Like, no, it didn't make any difference, but like I'm not nothing perfect, but like I thought he'd at least be like grateful that he found a girlfriend that wasn't as ugly as he was. But anyway, that sounds so horrible. But no, but he was vile. But what was I saying? So yeah, he pretended to come in and help me and be all nice and that. Love bomb, it's love bombing stage. They'll reel you in and and then you think you fall in love with them, or you have fallen in love with them, and then they'll dip their toe in the water and they'll do something nasty. And then if they get away with it or see how you react, they'll do the next thing, but they'll up it each time. And anyway, I could talk for hours about narcissism. So I'll cut to the chase. My kids, I had a complete nervous breakdown. When I say a nervous breakdown, like I was in bed, like a psych patient, laying there dribbling, looking at the wall, all day, all night, for months. No one could get me to do anything. The doctor said my brain had shut down. Because of this, my kids got taken, and it's because of the abuse that he was causing me. He was so severe. And the mental abuse was just unbelievable. And then when the kids went, it got even worse. And when I managed to start like getting up, but like he'd abuse me, then he'd want sex. I don't know what I have to be careful what I say. And then if I didn't give what he wanted, he'd carry on abusing me. So I'd do it just so he'd leave me alone for a little while. And just like close my eyes and just hope it would be over, because like he made me feel so disgusted. It was awful. So in the end, I exploded, and everyone got battered. Everyone because the police had let me down in the past when I was a kid. Do you know what they'd done when I was 15? There was an incident. I'm not going to go into it too much. To do with a family member. The police got called. I was battered. I had bruises all over my legs. I had chunks of hair missing. I was 15. I was crying. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to prison. They rang the police. I'm going to prison. So the police come in, male police officer, big bloke. He's coming. I've gone in to get a tissue because I'm crying, and he's kicked the bathroom door straight into my face. Then he's grabbed me into a chokehold and started choking me out, and he's goading me as he's doing it. Yeah, you're not so big now, are you, little girl? And all this. Like, who? But this is back before body cams. This is like in the 90s. And I got arrested as well on top of it. And I got arrested and treated like absolute crap in the cells because there was no cameras. So that is when my hate from the police started. Yeah. And then also I tried to get help when my son got suffocated, and they didn't want to know. They said, oh, no one's going to believe him, he's too young. So they're just going to throw it out of court. There's no point. So they let me down again, and then they laughed in my face when I said, like, he's abusing me, he's spitting in my face, and they scoffed me and went, what do you want us to do, arrest him for it? And so I'm more and more hatreds building up. And then, sorry, I'm getting really into the story.
No, it's all right. It's your turn. It's your time for us to speak whatever you want.
And then I literally, my ex I just beat the crap out of him. Absolutely annihilated him. But he still didn't learn. He still did it. He still attacked me again. And
so were you not with him at this time then?
Yeah, well, so basically, it's a bit complicated. So I went into rehab for a while. But it was because I was addicted to Tramadol, because it was a painkiller.
Right,
because the police severed a nerve in my neck before by pulling my arm so far up my back that they've actually severed a nerve. So I'm now on painkillers for the rest of my life for that. Anyway, what was the question? My mind's just gone.
No, you were just saying, I'm saying, like, were you still with your partner at the time when you were attacking him, and then when he was still attacking you?
It was just weird. It was like, so I went into rehab. There was an incident that happened in there that I'm not going to get into. People have probably heard it on my channel anyway. If they've obviously not probably got the same followers, but if they want to hear it, they can go listen to it. So anyway, he was really angry with me for this incident that had happened in rehab, and he was out for revenge. But I didn't love him anymore because I'd been away from him for 3 months. That trauma bond, it's a bit like Stockholm syndrome, where you're in love with your abuser, that had been broken. So now I didn't love him and feel sorry for him anymore. So I would physically beat him up back, and even though I'm little, and there's a lot. Look, don't get me wrong. In prison, there was loads of girls that were bigger than me and could beat me up. I'm not saying I'm biggest or the
Yeah.
toughest, but I can handle myself. And
So do you think that because of everything that you went through at the time, any little bit of conflict, you were just acting aggressively?
I got to the point where I would be physically harmed, and in the end, something in me just snapped, and I've learned to beat violence with violence. But then I got done. Well, I got arrested, and I have to be really careful what I say about this as well. I got arrested for GBH with intent, but it's still open for 4 years.
Right.
So
just like pending. It
could be reopened if someone wants to reopen it. It was a genuine accident this time. He was going on and on and on and on and on, and was verbally abusing me over and over again, telling me no one loves me, telling me I'm useless, and all these horrible things. You've lost your kids, you're never getting them back. I'm going to make sure you never get them back. Blah, 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 blah. And as I'm like this, I'm like, oh. And there was a little table and a little plastic pot with like little fake flowers in. And I've gone, oh, and as wasn't even facing, I've gone like and chucked it behind me. He's walked into the kitchen doorway, and it's hit him in the head. So it was no intent with it.
Yeah.
It was a genuine accident. I didn't mean to do it. The other times I meant to do it, and I told the police that, and I said to the court, I don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
I don't. He abused me. But he didn't end up with 6 or 7 stitches in his head. Yeah, you could see his skull. It was pretty bad.
Leading up to when you went to prison, then
that's all alleged, by the way. That's all allegedly that happened.
So leading up to when you got sent to prison, what was happening then, and what happened with what was your case that you got sent to prison for?
Okay, so basically. Because I never rang the police on him because I thought, what's the point? They've let me down before. I hate them anyway. As soon as I fought back with him, he'd ring the police on me, and because I didn't like the police, I would then fight with them. So they then took his side on everything, even though our last 2 girlfriends have got injunctions on him. But they didn't look into any of this. I had no previous except for like one drunk and disorderly or something. I don't know. Anyway. So they put like a CPS put like a temporary junction. So it was Christmas and I had no electric. No, sorry, I had a tiny bit of electric, but I had no gas. Where the police had put my door in so many times, I had like no letterbox. The letterbox was gone. So the cold air was coming in. You could see your breath. I had no food, I had no phone, I had no TV, and I had lost my kids. And I'm staring at a blank wall. And then I got a razor and I sat there and looked with it to my neck and just looked in the mirror, should I not? Because I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to put my pain onto other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I might be not in pain, but my kids are going to be in pain. That's the only thing that was stopping me, because at this point, I don't want to get upset. At this point, I just felt like I had nothing left. I had nothing left to give. I'd lost everything. Sorry, he knew I wasn't allowed around his house. And he's turned up in a taxi and he's like, come with me. It's okay. No one's going to know you're with me. I've got food. Like, I've got you some presents. And me, being stupid, went with him. And then he's attacked me. And because I was pinned in the corner of a sofa, and all I could do was kick. I couldn't punch. So I bit his like arm, trying to get him off of me. His neighbour. Now I don't know. I do not know to this day if his neighbour truly believed what he said or if he was going along with it because he was his friend. But him and his neighbour, so both of them together, have told the police that I've attacked him. I've come round unannounced and attacked him. So I went on the run, and I went. Sorry, I'm crying now, laughing. I went on the run. I escaped the police 3 times. 3 times I escaped from them. Like, okay, so first time they knocked on the door, and I was like, so I knew they were looking for me. I knew I was on the run, staying at different people's houses, and I had to come back and get some stuff. And so I think it might be my neighbours, ringing saying she's there, because how would they know each time? Like, anyway, they turned up and they knocked on the door, and I said, you better go and get some backup, because I'm going to cut your effing if you don't. I wasn't going to. I knew what I was doing, because I knew that I'd have to go and get backup. So that gave me time to grab my stuff, go out the back door, lock it, run up the back garden, and trying to climb up this 6-foot wall with my friend, me and my mate, clambering over this wall into my neighbour's garden. And we got up, we ran up the downs, and we could hear all the sirens. We was just laughing our head off. Like, we were really bad. We would just walk in a shop and just walk out with a bottle of wine. We just didn't care. I'll just fill a basket up. I wouldn't do it now. I was not well. I've stopped taking my medication as well. I stopped taking my medication as well, which really didn't help. And then alcohol on top of it. So at this point, I wasn't even really with my ex, but sometimes I had to go back to him because I had nothing. They hadn't sorted any of my money out, so I was literally living off the kindness of other people giving me food. I had nothing.
So when did the police catch up with you then? Is this what you went to prison for? Well,
basically, I went to prison because I was on the run. I managed to escape 3 times from them. They're so stupid. Anyway, so eventually the reason they caught up to me is because I had a fight at the bar, like a landlord of a pub, and because he told me to leave, and he's just literally served me a drink, and I said, and me being drunk and being an idiot, I said, I'll leave after I finish my effing drink. And he's put his hands on me, and as soon as he's put his hands on me, I've just turned around and punched him in the face because of the abuse. As soon as he's gone to put his hands on me, that's it. I've just swung, and then before you know it, tables are flying, chairs are going over, everyone's running out, like absolute mayhem. I don't even remember half of what went on. My friend told me the next day, well, when she got to speak to me, I think it was on the phone in prison, actually. She spoke to me about it. But anyway, the only reason I know about what happened next is because of the CCTV and the body cam. So the police are there. Why they sent one woman over to talk to me, I don't know, because they know how mental I go. 2 men are talking. They're not even 5 feet away. 2 males talking to the landlord, and I'm in the corner, like, so like there's the pub's here, and I'm kind of like it's backed into a corner. This policeman goes, right, you're under arrest. And as she said that, I've gone right, and I've grabbed her stab vest, and I've ran her back into a car, got her hair in my hands, and kneed her in the face 3 times, and knocked her unconscious. Yeah. So
that's obviously what you went to prison for.
That and I got 6 weeks as well for breaking the condition of even though I tried to explain, but I didn't even care anyway at this point.
So did you get remanded for this then?
I got 6 weeks for the breaking the injunction thing, which should have been the other way around, but anyway. And then I was on remand for the police thing. I do not know how I got released. Literally, so I did 3 weeks, then I did 3 weeks on remand, and it was Friday the 13th, and everyone was going, "Oh, you're done for. It's Friday the 13th." You know what I mean? Winding me up, sort of thing. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, I'm like, "Oh my god, I've got to get a long time for this," because it had come up on the red button. So you heard red button on the
channel.
Yeah, the people had seen on the red button, it had come up what had happened. Well, a couple of the girls had said that. I never saw it myself, but anyway. So I think the reason that none of this came out in the papers or on, like, because they were embarrassed, because I literally got let free. They let me free because of everything that had happened to me. They gave me another chance, and when I said to the judge, "I swear to you, I won't do it again," I bloody meant it. But I got out.
So obviously you went to prison for that, came out, and you obviously must have went back for the other thing then, huh?
Oh yeah, I went back again, and then that's when I got the 14 months, because I went out again 9 days later, got in a bar fight. Landlord got injured. Let's just say that much. And I there's two police officers. I shouldn't laugh. It's not. I can't help it. Two police officers were trying to arrest me, and I've just grabbed. They put me on the floor, but I've grabbed one of them's legs with my legs, and I've just yanked him, and he's just gone straight on the floor. So I'm just fighting with these two police officers, and obviously backups come, and they're gonna get the better. There's too many of them. You can't beat them. So yeah, I got 14 months for that, and I deserved it, to
Did
be
he get a
honest.
good kicking on the way down as well?
Pardon?
Did he get a good kicking on the way down as well when the
They dislocated my kneecap, and they
right?
refused. And it popped back in, but they refused medical help.
Because
Yeah,
I know if you've been fighting with the coppers and you get the better of one of them, then the rest of them come and they make you pay for it.
well, yeah, that they dislocated my kneecap,
Right.
which is blow painful.
I bet.
And pepper sprayed me, and I still got the cuffs off and threw it at him and laughed
So
as
you must
well.
have getting remanded after that, then did you, for waiting for sentencing?
Yeah, then I got remanded, and then so I did a little bit of time. It wasn't that long. I wasn't waiting that long on remand, and then I got the 14 months. I think I did about 5 months, and then I did the rest. I had two tags. I had an alcohol tag and the other tag, the normal tag, to make sure you're in at
Yeah.
7. I had
So
one of them.
which prisons were you remanded to?
It was just Bronzefield I was in the whole
Also,
time.
Bronzefield do everything remand sentenced.
Yeah, they do the remote.
Report.
That's why I was in with the murderers, which I think is really weird. They put category A prisoners in with. I know, like, I was violent. Mine was a violent crime. Yeah, maybe I should have been in there. Some people are in there for like shoplifting and stuff, and then they're in there with murderers. It's crazy. I can't. It doesn't make no sense. But yeah, that's the way they do it. But
So this next part, we're just going to be talking about HMP Bronzefield. So
yeah.
tell me what it was like going into HMP Bronzefield for the first time.
Okay, so I'm on the way in the van, in the Circo van, and this woman goes to me, "Oh, do you like loud music?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not bothered." And she was like, "Okay." They've got a little speaker, they put you in the little box. They had a little speaker in there. They played drum and bass for 2 hours. It was so loud. I swear they were doing it to deliberately annoy me. It was so loud. Like every time I tried to drift off, like it was just waking me up. And then all of a sudden, a cat, and I didn't know this at the time, had ran in front of the thing, and I've heard one of them scream, and the brakes have gone on. I've not got my seatbelt on, so I've gone straight into the metal. They didn't tell me what had happened. Anyway, they carried on driving. Oh shit! I'll just keep the camera. They carried on driving. Got there. I walked in with a smile. I wasn't bothered. I was in prison. What did I have to lose? What did I have on the outside? I didn't even have money. Huh?
What age were you?
This is literally the last few years. I'm 35. Oh my God, how old am I? I'm born in 88. That's so bad. I'm 35. I think I'm 35. That's terrible. That's when you know you're getting old. That's when you forget. 35, right? So I must have been about 34 or 33, something like that. But yeah, so I've got there, and I was a bit like, although like I did, yeah, I was a bit nervous. I'm not gonna say I wasn't at all, because like it is a bit scary. You don't know what you don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? You don't know who you're gonna be around. You see all this stuff on a TV about American stuff and that, and like you put this picture in your head like of weird, crazy stuff. Anyway, so you go through, you get your picture taken for your little card, and they give you your prison number. You obviously, if you get a prison number, that stays with you for your whole life. You don't get a different one each time. If you come in again, you know this, you get the same one. So they gave me my prison number, and they're taking me through. They do all the process, and it takes ages. They give you a netted basket with like plastic plates and forks and bowls and stuff. Do you know what though? You could easily make a really like dangerous shank out of them forks. Just snap a bit off.
They're quite strong
It's
as well,
so
aren't they?
sharp.
It's strong plastic, isn't it?
Huh?
It's strong plastic as
It
well, so
is strong plastic, yeah. Like
so
if
they
it's in
shove it
America,
down into the
like
spine.
oh yeah, they don't have them like that in America, do they? Because I
I'm
think
not sure.
I can't believe that they even have that in England, because you could easily make some, even out of the spoon or any of it. It's so you could just make such a sharp object out of it. But anyway, so I go in, get all given all my bits. So I'm talking about the first time I went in, right? The second time I went up, this is the funniest. So I've gone in with a smile on my face. I've really, I'll hang on, I'll tell you that bit in a bit, right? So first time I've been in there, I get it's dark, it's late, everyone's banged up, it's complete silence on the induction wing. It's silence. And I walk through and I'm looking up at all the cells and that, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm actually here. I'm in prison. What, like, it's starting to click in now. Like, oh my God, what have I done? How long am I going to be here? And they've shut me in this room. And me being a new person in prison, not being in prison before, I didn't check the toilet and that, did I? The toilet was blocked up with someone else's.
Oh, a nightmare.
And they wouldn't move me. Now I would kick that door and I would scream and I would cause them so much mayhem, they'd move me. But because I was new in prison and everyone's asleep and like I didn't want to make no one angry, I just shut up and had to just put up with it. But I was like, 48 hours, like that's wrong. Like you should move me or get someone to
Oh,
come
it
and
shouldn't be
me.
allowed.
Yeah, it's actually, that's out of order. That's human rights. Like
So
I couldn't even go to
is
the
it
toilet.
single pads in there or is it doubles?
Both, a mixture. I prefer going in
Mixture.
the doubles because I'm a chatterbox, as you can tell. And because I've got ADHD, if I sit on my own and I struggle to even sleep, I will have conversations like we're having in my head to myself continuously. So it's better that I'm with somebody, but I'd always choose who was in with me. If it was someone I didn't want in with me, I'd just say to the guards knew, like I'd smash them over the head with the TV, like they're not coming in. Like if I didn't trust someone, or I thought someone was a threat that I'm not sharing with them, you're gonna have to bend me up and take me to the seg now, so I'm not going in with them. So they'd just make their life easier. They would just let me say, right, oh, yeah, I'll have them in with me because they
So
don't want that.
what were you
They
like
don't
as a
want.
prisoner then? Were you welcomed in off the other ladies or the lasses that were in there?
Yeah, well, oh yeah, I was all right. I surprisingly,
Did you make a lot
like,
of friends? Because I know when you go to
yeah,
prison,
I did meet a lot of friends, and one of them I've just spoken to, that she's just got out, and I was so happy to speak to her. She was a cellmate of mine. Like 3 months we were in the same cell together. And when you're in there, 3 months feels like an eternity.
there's
When you're
like,
talking all that time, and you, especially when you're just banged up 23 hours a day, and you only get let out one day.
the other lass that yeah, I've seen you've done a bit of a podcast with. She's on YouTube as well. What was her name?
Oh, Francesca.
Fran. Ah, that's it. I've
Yeah,
seen her
she's
on YouTube.
ex-UK female prisoner, I think is the
That's
name
the
of her
one.
channel.
I've
Yeah, she's really nice. I've been doing some live streams with her. Um, but yeah, so I was a bit scared anyway. Next day, because when I come in, there was also, they put me in a room, a holding room, and there's a lady there. She's got two black eyes, and she was crying, and she was really, really upset to be in there. Obviously, she's got something on the outside. She's got stuff to lose. So, because in my head at the time, I'm thinking, why is she so upset that she's here? Like, I can't work out why everyone was so upset that they were in prison. Now, I'd be really upset if I got taken. I've got too much to lose. But back
obviously the
then, I
mindset that
hadn't.
you were in at the time, you didn't really care, did you?
No, I was better off there. I was getting fed. Like, and I couldn't get alcohol. Well, I could get hooch, but I never drank none of that. And I didn't do spice. I tried it once, and I laid on the bed like that, like a bloody weirdo, right? Thinking weird things, thinking they're all plotting against me. They all think I hate them. Like, so I was in a little clique. So I was thinking weird things, and I thought I'm never ever touching that again. That's not like weed. I thought it was going to be like weed.
I've
It's
seen
only
the
just
state
a
of
little
some people.
tiny bit.
I've
It's a
seen the
tiny
I've seen
bit.
the state of some people on that space, and I look at them and I'm thinking to myself, like, what enjoyment are you actually getting out of that? Being on the
They
floor
say
comatose.
it's a day out. Oh, have you ever heard that saying? I'm having a day
I'm
out.
having a
Yeah,
day out.
yeah.
Some of them got
When
it for two,
they
3 weeks.
save up a load of pills and that, and they're like, right, I'm having a day out tonight, and it's going, something's gonna kick off. There's so many funny stories I could go on forever about. But
So inside of HMP Bronzefield,
yeah,
what's the situation with the wings? Is everyone just mixed, or have they got like the high risk wing, or have they got like a unit, and have they got a
yeah.
protection in there as well?
So basically, you got the ones, the twos, threes, and then the fours is the privileged wing, where probably Lucy Letby will be put, because people won't want to hurt her on there because they either like her or they're getting ready to be released, and they're not going to want to ruin going and seeing their children to get someone. Do you know what I mean? So she's kind of safe in that sort of situation.
So
She could still get
how many
got.
prisoners is on that wing then? Is it a big wing or is
I'm
it
not.
just a small?
It's not big. I mean, I don't know because I was never on there. I
Right.
swore blind I would never go on there, even if I got bloody life sentence, because I knew I'd get myself in trouble. Well, actually, if I was in a life sentence, it wouldn't matter, would it? But if I went over there, I would have got in trouble. They have privileges, like they have showers in their cells, they have a TV room. Like, what? Why are these people getting privilege? Chuck them
Well,
in
I've
their
just
population.
like you've seen the video that I've just released about Lucy Letby about having her own key.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yes,
what's the
exactly what you
situation
said.
with that?
It's only to literally stop people going in your cell. I had one, never used it because I had like a little clique of friends, and I knew that if they were and they seen anyone going in my cell, then there would have been problems for that
There's a lot
person.
of people are thinking that she's got a key so she can let herself in and out whenever she
No.
wants. But like I said in the video that I've just released, them keys are just to lock your door to stop people going in
Yes,
once you've
yes.
already been opened off the screws.
If you're not liked, people don't want people. They're going to worry that someone's going to come in and steal their stuff or break their stuff or trash their cell. So that's why they've given her a key. She definitely isn't getting in and out of her cell. That's for sure. The
Like,
media,
to put it across,
media always write things wrong to like exaggerate things.
the papers have put it across that she's living the life of luxury. She's got her own key. She's in and out whenever she wants. But it's just
No. She might be on the floors. There is a possibility she might still be in. I think she'll still be in seg at the moment. I don't think she'll be on the floors at the moment. They're going to really have to assess the situation, and they're really going to have to look at who's over on the floors, like on the privilege wing. They're really going to have to assess it. What
what do you
in there
think?
for?
What do you think the female prisoners' mindsets will be in prison? They'll all be wanting to get a hold of her, won't they?
Except for the ones that are like her, or the ones that desperately want to get home to their kids, and they're literally almost there, and they don't want to. They don't, because like I would. So there was a girl that left her baby for 6 days while she went out clubbing, and the baby died. And when they found the baby, it had all maggots in its nappy. She come on our wing as a list. They call them a listener. They have a red coat, and they go around and talk to people who are depressed and all that. She was running around laughing, having like some like sexual thing going on with one of the people on the wing, a big trans guy, female to male. So she was biologically female, but was on testosterone. So it was a big. And I had a big. We had a big to do because I was gonna beat her up because I didn't like the fact that she was running around smiling and laughing. She only got 8 years. I know drug dealers that have got longer than that. She have to have a baby die. That's murder. You don't leave a baby for 6 days. I won't even leave 6 hours.
No.
Like, Oh, it makes anyway. So it wound me up so much, and because she was coming off, she wasn't actually housed on our wing. She was housed on another wing, but because she was having this like affair with this like trans guy, she kept coming on the wing every day. And the more and more I saw her, the more and more my blood was boiling. And I said to the girls, I was like, I'm gonna end up beating her up. I can feel it. I can feel it. Anyway, someone's got word to him, to the trans guy. I'll say his name. I don't care. TJ. I've already spoke about him in my videos. I don't care. I'm not scared of him. Even if I went back now, I'm not bothered. So he said, he got me in the laundry room. He said, I need to talk to you about something. And we got on really well before this. Like but I did notice he started winding everyone up on the wing. He'd push in the queue in the servery. He'd demand things. He would because he was trans, he used to get allowed out the cell in the morning to have a shower for everyone else. Great, fair enough. That's absolutely fine. But what he'd do is he'd have his shower, and then he'd sneak into the bath, the bit where the bath is, and he'd just stand in there for ages so that none of us could get unlocked. Like, so he's just winding people up, like thinking he was running the place.
Yeah.
So he heard that I wanted to beat her up. And because I was I was chatty, and like, I seemed like a happy-go-lucky sort of person, like, and I've never had a problem with anyone before. I think he thought I was a bit of a pushover and I'll be scared of him. And he's gone, she's really well protected in here. I'll let you off this time. And because I hadn't cut these humongous, ridiculous nails that I used to wear, hadn't cut them off yet. I went, oh, okay, all right then. And I left it at that, and I walked out. I've walked up the stairs to the girls on the landing where everyone's like sits and drinks their coffee together. Said, right, who's got nail clippers? And these things were a bugger to get off. They were so thick, and the nail clippers were so thin. And I was like this, like over the bin, and everyone's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? And I was like, just you wait. Like I was fuming. I was ready to fight. Like my adrenaline was pumping. And he's come up the stairs, and I've gone, get in my cell now. I was like, get in my cell. I was like, you think you're gonna threaten me like that and in the laundry room? Well, come on then, threaten me now in front of everyone else. Come in there and deal with. So I would have got hurt. It was much bigger than me. He was like, but I didn't care. Like I'm not letting someone threaten me. I'm not. I don't care. Especially if I see him. He looks like a man as well. So I see him as a man, so it triggers me, like, massively.
So what was his reaction to that then? Oh.
He couldn't. The look of shock on his face. He couldn't believe, because he didn't think I was like that. No one had seen that. Nobody had seen that side of me before. And after that, I never had any problems with anyone. No one tried it. I was kind of included in that little clique. You get you get levels, don't you? Bit like at school, you get your levels, and I was included in the little clique. Didn't particularly like a lot of them, but just to keep myself, relatively more safe, stayed in that clique.
Now, something I just want to speak a little bit about this TJ fella.
Who?
This TJ fella. That to me, you just can't get your head around this. So they're actually giving him/her testosterone in prison.
Yeah. One of them had their boobs removed. Another one, not going to mention their name because I never had a problem with them. They had their breasts removed, operation, whilst they were in prison. I swear to God. So what do you think? There was also a male in there called Cat. He actually had a penis, and he got 2 girls drunk on hooch with 2 vulnerable girls, and he got caught R-wording them because they were so out of their mind they couldn't have consented. And they shipped him out, I think, to Downview because they've got a trans unit. Why was he there? Why is he not there in the first place?
I've done a video on this previously about the Scottish prisons because it's happening up there. But that to me is just outrageous. Like, I can't get my head around that.
Because I knew Cat. I was in there with him. And he told me he used to take the hormone patches off. Because he wanted to be a female. He didn't. He was in there for murder as well. He'd been in prison for murder. He'd been in prison 15 years, and they put him in with the women. Right?
That's outrageous.
They told me he would take his patches off and put them in the bin. He had pictures of women with their boobs out all over his cell. Like, you could tell. And the only thing that he did was put a bra and a thong in his wash, so it made it look like he was trying to be a woman. Like literally, that was it. He walked like a bloke, talked like a bloke. He was a bloke. He
Like how can they put how can
pardon.
they put somebody like that in a women's prisons when they're putting the women at risk? It's
The
out
world's
madness.
gone mad. The world has gone mad, and everyone's too scared to stand up and talk about trans people. I have a very, and I can't say who, but I've got a very close trans family member, so I have nothing against trans people. But he's taken the absolute biscuit. Without swearing,
Yeah.
because he didn't want to be trans. He isn't trans. He's using it as an excuse, and it's disgusting that they're allowing them to do this and to get away with this. Like. There was another one, wasn't there? He just stuck a blonde wig on one day after he got in trouble and said, "Oh, I'm trans." Do you remember that
And
one?
it was the one up in Scotland. I think it was. Can't remember the name, but
No,
he was a rapist, and he'd been in prison for doing that to women. But then they went and put him in a women's prison because he wanted to be identified as a woman.
it's a shame. It's a shame some big ass butch bird didn't give him a good beating.
So what about this TJ fella? Does he want to get sent to a man's prison?
Oh no! So no. Oh, of course not. Of course, he don't want to be in a man's prison. No, he's silly. No, he wants to be with the women, didn't he? He was trying to get with some of them. Me and him were all right for a little bit, so I started noticing his behaviours and the way he treated people, and then I started like backing off. I was like, I'm not hanging around. I'm not talking to someone like that. Anyway, so he's then told the guard, to Screws, the reason that because they all came running. I'll tell you one thing though, in Bronzefield, if something kicks off, they come fast. Like if you're in a fight, it's not going to last long. But then saying that if there's a fight, if someone throws hot water in your face, it's done in seconds. You know what I mean? So bad things can still happen.
What violent incident? Oh, sorry, yourself. Sorry, I was going to say. So, what violent incidents did you witness whilst you were in there?
Mainly self-harm. There was quite a few fights, but a lot of them were on the other wing before I got put onto that wing. So I was on C wing, and their fights were on the B wing because they seemed to put all the crazy, leery ones on B wing, and for some reason I got moved on there. But TJ got moved. I said to the Screw, I said, he ain't running this wing no more. So you better fucking get him off. Oopsies.
Oh, it's all right.
I was like, you better get him off of this wing because not that I'm gonna run the wing, but he's not gonna run it no more. I'm not. I will fight. I made that perfectly clear, and I was not joking. And so they've locked us all up. They wouldn't even let us out to get our food because there's a little servery in every cell block.
Yeah.
And they would only let 3 people at a time out to get their food to take it back to their cell. And then I heard him going because he's huge. I don't know why he'd be worried about me. Right, so through the crack of the door, obviously he's not in that cell, he's in the cell there. So we can hear him going, "She's not out there though, is she? She's locked up, isn't she? She's banged up, isn't she? She's like a wild animal, right?" We can hear, and I'm thinking, what? Why would he be even intimidated by me? Like he was huge compared to me. Anyway, it was bizarre. His girlfriend, the one who left the baby to die, they were so worried about her safety, they shipped her out to another prison the next day. I think they shipped her out to Downview. So
no,
yeah.
you're pleased about that then.
Hang on, I'm being called. I'm just going to decline it. Yeah,
So
sorry. Pardon?
I bet you were pleased about that then, seeing the back of him.
Oh,
literally.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it wouldn't the end of him because he'd still get to walk around, and he'd get. It was weird. It's like almost like he had to wink on the guards because they'd let him get away with so much stuff that other people would just got like in so much shit for. I did start a protest once though, because they messed my canteen up. When you're in prison, canteen is a big thing, and if you smoke, vapes are like everything to you, like especially if you're poor and you don't have much of money. And they messed my vapes up, and they didn't give me my vapes, and I begged them for a week to sort it out, and I kept getting told, "Yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later." I said, "You've got till tonight at bang up, and if I haven't got my vapes, there's going to be problems." And I think they thought I was joking. So me and like, I don't know, in between 8 to 10 guards, I can't remember exactly, would just point blank refuse to go in ourselves till I got my vapes. Someone put the radio on, people were twerking, they had to get all the guards from the other blocks over. And I said, look, they can go in there, they're at their own free will, right? I'm not forcing them to stay out. And I said that's they all heard. I said, but I'm not going in because you've messed me about. I've been begging for a week. I'm not sitting in there another night with no vapes. And I don't like borrowing stuff off people because it always ends in fights. It's not worth it. Unless it's someone I'm really, really close friends with, I wouldn't borrow nothing off someone. So in the end, one of the guard, I always say guards, like screws.
One of the screws.
Guards. But one of the screws slipped me one in a bit of tissue and said, look, just go in your cell and don't tell anybody I gave you this. Because they wanted the situation to stop. And I went, fair enough. I went in my cell. I got one. I was happy with that. I was like, that's fine. I'll go in my cell. But like, yeah, they thought, and then after that, there was another time that they, I was pretty obedient. Like, if they said lock up, that's it. I'll get my stuff. I'll be in my cell. No problems. I didn't go around causing trouble. I didn't do any of that. I did stick up for a few people that were being bullied. Like, I'll tell you what, there was a deaf lady that come in and they took her battery out of her hearing aid. Like, why would they do that? The prison took the battery out of this lady's hearing aid. So they put her in with this Romanian woman. Now, this Romanian woman, right, had bullied her last 2 cellmates out of her cell because she wanted this double cell to herself. And we've noticed that she's trying to make this. And this woman was really big and like disabled. She's just trying to get on the top bunk. And you know what them ladders are like? They're like that. There's just no way. I mean, I'd struggle at this size to try and climb up one of them ladders. And she turned the subtitles off. So this woman couldn't even watch her TV. Like, she was like she wanted her out of the cell. And I said to one of the screws, I said, you need to get her out of there tonight. Like, you can't make her stay. She's sleeping on the floor. You need to move her because she's bullying her. And this guard started mouthing off to me, and I was like, right, I was like, if you keep being rude to me, I'm going to turn everyone on this wing against you. And I did in the end. And I don't even think she'll be there anymore, to be honest. So everyone gave us such a hard time up because she just kept on really picking on me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I said, look, we was like, because we've got nowhere to put her. I said, we'll put a room in my cell, mate. And I'll go in with her. Problem solved. But they wouldn't do it.
I
wouldn't have beaten her up, but she wouldn't be watching TV.
Yeah.
I'd turn the TV off and I'd have made her sleep on the floor. But they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't. Because I hate bullying.
So you were mentioning earlier on, so they've got like a wing for the high-risk prisoners, like lifers and that. Because I've got a separate one.
Literally, they have literally just got block 4. So block 1's for the addicts. Block 2 and 3 are for just like lifers and remanders. They're like just the general population. And then you've got the privileged wing, which is where they will probably in the end put Lucy Letby when they feel that it's safe enough and it's died down enough. But she could still get attacked because even some of the bad ones in there that have done some really bad things, they might not have done something to a kid. They might have been in there for murder, but they might still look down on her for what she's done. And if they've got life and they're not getting out anyway, then they're not going to care if they're going to get in trouble for doing something.
She'll be attacked numerous times throughout her sentence.
I do believe she's going to be attacked. It's just ticking time bomb. It's going to happen. Someone's going to. It might start off with just a little beating up, and then I think there's a good chance she could get seriously attacked.
They will off somebody because there's people in there, like I've mentioned on the video, that are doing that, doing big sentences, and they'll probably want that badge of honor, so to speak, to say that they're the ones that have done it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And get the name in their paper because people have forgotten about them. Say they've been in there 10 years. People have forgotten their murder now. Now they've forgotten to the world. They're gone. They're out of this world. They're in their own little world. Prison is like its own little world, its own little community. So they love to make a name. Some of them would love to make a name, and I was kind of hoping that they'd put her in the same place as Joanna Dennehy, but they moved her, didn't they? Because she, I think she would have got hold of her if she
Have you
could
heard,
have.
have you heard any stories about Joanna Dennehy imprisoning?
I've done a documentary on her. She was there before me, but left before I got there. But I did know some girls that was quite close friends with her. And this
Because
is
I'd imagine in prison she'd be like at the top of the hierarchy because she's absolute
100%.
nutcase, isn't she?
Girls wouldn't mess with her. There's absolutely no way. And I would not mess with her. Like if it come to it, I'd fight, but I wouldn't want to. Like she's not. She's sort of that'll come look back with like a knife or something. Like she's no way, mate.
What did the prisoners say about her? The ones like you said that were close to her.
Well, no, she was apparently she was all right. She got on with everyone. Like you'd never guess what she'd done wrong. And one of the girls that I know, and I only saying this secondhand information. I don't know. I wasn't there, so take this with a grain of salt. My friend in prison, who obviously I don't know is if they're telling the truth, but they told me that they asked her, like, Joe, why did you do it? Why did you kill them men? And she said that something terrible had happened to her when she was younger and it had caused her to hate men so much. And if she got out, that she would do it again. That's apparently what she said.
Yeah, well, I think I've heard that before as well.
Oh, really? Maybe she told someone else similar.
I'm sure someone like a prison, one of the screws had said something similar. Don't know. There was something in the newspaper. I read something about it.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Something
apparently she
similar,
wanted to do it again. If she got out, she would kill more men. She enjoys it, and she used to do like weird stuff as well, like cut herself up and that in prison and that. I don't know. She wasn't there when I was there, but I wouldn't have wanted to mess with her. That's for sure. I'm tough. I'm not that tough because I fight with my fists. I wouldn't. I know the whole pot thing and the head. But that was an accident. Like, but normally, if with me, it's more like I'll have a one-on-one fight. That's fair. I wouldn't want to jump someone. Huh?
So what we're going to talk about now, Corinne, is
Yeah.
leading up to you getting released and getting back out in the community. What was going on with your kids and stuff? Did prison sort your head out? Did you think to yourself, right, I need to get out there and be your mother?
Good question. They changed my medication. And obviously, I take my other medication on time, whereas before, when I was out, I wasn't. I completely just guarded everything, and I wasn't drinking. And I had this weird dream, and there's some people that are going to think I'm mad, but I don't care. I had this weird dream, an angel, and I do believe in Jesus because I used to pray all the time, like, God, please, like, help me. I beg you to, like, help me sort my life out. I swear I want to change. All the time I pray. And it's in this dream, an angel took my hand and they took me up to heaven's gates. And I just felt this feeling of just like, it was weird. It was just like, almost like a bit of a high, like a feeling of
like euphoria.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, euphoria. Like this weird feeling of everything's going to be all right. That's what I could hear in my head. Everything's going to be all right. And then I just come, and then I drifted down and I woke up and then I looked outside because it was the summertime, so it got light really early and there was this big ass rainbow going right over the prison, and I thought everything's going to be all right. And also the other thing is obviously the medication change helped. They told me I had ADHD. I was waiting for my last appointment, but you know what it's like in there, you're waiting forever for an appointment, and they were like about to give me medication, and then I was getting released, and so I wasn't gonna make my appointment, and so they said, oh, don't worry, you can just go to the mental health team outside and they'll sort it out. I'm still waiting a year and a half or something later because I've got to start again. Apparently I've got to be reassessed all over again, even though I was already told that I had it when I was in there. But anyway, I'm probably going to have to pay private, to be honest, because I just can't. I need... It does affect you. Like, you can tell I talk a lot. Like, my brain's 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I get everything but nothing done. I'll start something but not finish it, and then start something else and not finish it. And chaos. I'm just chaos. That's what I am. But yeah, sorry, what was the rest of your question? I was
So just about getting in contact with your kids, and then when you're getting out, like what's happening?
yeah. So also, and there was girls and they're telling me their stories, and I swear, some of the things I've heard have happened to some of these girls make what has happened to me look like absolute nothing. Like some of the things I've heard, and like they've got no home to go to, they've got no family, their kids have been adopted, they're not ever seeing them again. Like they have. I thought when I went in there, my glass was half empty. When I came out, my glass was half full. Do you see what I mean? Changed my
Yeah.
mindset. I saw people who really had nothing. Some of them didn't even have their own teeth. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going to lose everything. And then obviously the medication change and that. And then my little boy sent me a picture. He drew me a picture of a gun and sent it to the prison. How embarrassing is that? But that's bad. That's because he thinks I'm like I want to be a gangster or something. He drew me a little picture, and it had a little picture of a dog, because he knows I love dogs. And then he I don't know how I don't think the social services realised what it was, but he'd drawn a gun on this little picture that he'd sent me, and I thought, oh my God, like this is rubbing off on my kids. They're going to think this behaviour is normal. Like I have to change, and I
Have you
have.
always kept a bond with your kids then?
Yeah, one's still in foster care, but they've already told him, and they're not going to say it to him unless they really honestly mean it, that he will be coming back to me at some point. My oldest two, I can have whenever I want. One of them's permanently here constantly, and then my 13-year-old goes in between me and his dad. And then my very youngest one, I'm having serious problems with the dad's new wife. She just doesn't want me to see my son somehow, but I am seeing him once a month. But it's like once a month, that's like nothing, is it? And but they've made it very difficult. He doesn't even really interact with me that much, to be honest. It's quite sad. I'm hoping that we can get, and the more I see him, the more of a bond that will come up. But I don't know, it's been a difficult one. But I'm the others absolutely love me. They want to be with me. My little boy in foster care, literally, I can't wait for him to come home. He can't wait to come home. I've turned my life around. Like I've like sorted my house out. It's not the tidiest at the moment because I've not been well. But like I've got my dog. And from the age of 8 weeks, she's now 9 months, completely fully trained. Absolutely trained. That's why my son could take to the park, because she is trained. So that's what I've been focusing on, and I have got a job. I'm not allowed to talk about it too much, but what I'm going to say is it's working with people who have been through similar situations as me. Yeah. But I'm not allowed to say too much because it's against the policies of the company. And
well, it looks like from what I've heard today, it looks like you're doing okay now. You've been out a year and a half. You're getting your life back on track.
Not touch drink.
You're not on the drink. It's so hats off to you.
Not in that evil man again.
I hope things work out for you, and I hope everything goes well. Just take one day at a time and just keep doing what you're doing. You seem to be doing.
Appreciate that.
You're still young enough to have a good life. Your kids are young enough to get to know them properly. But the youngest one, sorry. So just keep doing.
I've had a lot of Botox, so I look a little bit younger than I am. I'm joking. But yeah, no, I will get him back. I know I am. By the end of this year, he will be back for me. I said everything I've said since when I left prison. I said to my mum, I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And almost every, there's only a couple of things on my list that I haven't completed. But I think nearly every single thing that I said I was going to do, I've done. So I will get him back by the end of the year.
Well, you can be an inspiration for them.
Services sign me off. My daughter's not on the social services list or anything anymore.
But you can be an inspiration for other women going through struggle that's been in your position. Without you realising it now, people could be looking up to you now and thinking, you know what I mean, you're doing well.
Yeah, don't give up. Don't give up. If you carry on, that's it. Then you will be stuck in suffering. And like, I'm not saying everyone should pray to who or whatever, but for me, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and then I had that dream and seen that rainbow, and literally after that, literally I think it was 2 days later, I got a letter saying I'm going to be released on tag. And I just knew that dream meant something. I just felt that it meant something. It was like, yeah, like it's over. It's not
Yeah.
over, but it's the worst bit's over. You just got to work hard now. And so, but just if you're in domestic violence, tell someone. There's too many people are not telling people, and they're not getting help, and bad things are happening, and the police need to wake up because people are dying. It's so serious, and I don't think enough people are talking about it. Sorry, I know like it's not to do with prison and that, but I will be talking about things like that on my channel. So if anyone's interested in listening to me waffle.
What I'll do, Corinne, I'll put your link in the description of this video. So if anyone wants to go down and listen to Corinne's, I mean, I've had a look at a couple of your videos. They were really good, really interesting. But I think a lot of me viewers would like to see your content, because obviously mine's just focusing mainly on the men's prisons, and there's a whole different world in the women's prisons, a whole different side of it, and you're going to have some interesting stories
as well. Yeah,
I've got a lot of stories
as well. Even though I was in there only I was in there 6 weeks and then like 5 months, I think. So I wasn't in there long, but in that time, there's so many things that happen that I've just got so many stories. And I've got stories about me escaping from the police and everything that I've got loads of things that I talk about. So yeah, but thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate it. It's an honor for you to let me be on here.
Just keep going with your channel. Just keep doing your stories, and your channel will grow.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Thank
you so much.
But I wish you the best of luck. I hope everything goes well for you.
And you. All right. Thank you.
Go, Take care.